Ambassador, I have to ask this, right? You were the ambassador until last month in America. You were, in charge when President Ghani came, from Afghanistan and spoke to Joe Biden. Can you tell us, what was discussed in these meetings? It seemed like what Mr. Joe Biden said yesterday, President Joe Biden said yesterday, that there was some kind of disconnect, and he sort of said that the President Ghani, abandoned the people of Afghanistan. I mean, can you throw some light on the conversations that were taking place? Because everybody's surprised how soon Kabul fell. How Taliban was able to take over the country so quickly. I mean, can you shed some light?
Yes, I happen to agree with President Biden. There was a disconnect. There was a huge failure of leadership in Kabul. I cannot shed light to the conversations that took place because while I was the ambassador, I was not included in the meetings. I was not included in the meeting that I organized with the White House or many of such meetings with the US government.
Wow, okay.
It was because simply there was such divisiveness and prejudice at the Afghan leadership at that level that just because somebody did not like you could make such decision. And that is the reason. That's a major reason of why we are where we are.
And so, just out of curiosity again, Ambassador, you're telling us for the first time again, I'm hearing this for the first time, you were not included in any of the conversations when Ashraf Ghani was, in fact, in Washington, D.C., speaking with the president. Do you think, the U.S. government was misled by the people or the government in Kabul, or was it an intelligence failure on the American side?
I'm not part of the intelligence, so I cannot fully explain that. But just from what I have seen, is I would say both, because given the situation, given that how the Afghan leadership worked, how could the U.S. not predict that this would be the outcome? I also heard that there were side deals or discussions between the former Afghan government and the Taliban going on. A lot of people told me that it was determined, this was determined to go this way already between them. So there is a lot that is being discussed. I wasn't necessarily, as I mentioned, part of some of those discussions, but at the same time, there are some things that we do know. For example, how fast Kabul fell, that you referred to it, that you mentioned, is because it was not a total failure on part of Afghan security forces. They were ready to fight. They wanted to fight. They did not betray the country. They were told not to fight. They were told to surrender. Kabul told them to surrender.
Okay, I have another question. And because you were in the position, that you were in, there has been a lot of concerns about the role that Pakistan has played over the years. What role, when you were as the ambassador of Afghanistan, what role do you think Pakistan played in destabilizing, or it will play in destabilizing Afghanistan going forward?
Pakistan have always had a very important role to play in the direction that Afghanistan were heading, simply because the leadership of Taliban were housed in Pakistan. That they received their direction and instruction from the leadership that was based in Pakistan. This is simply that. So they had an immense role in that. Now, I'm not sure that they have played a very constructive role throughout, because they could have pressured Taliban to come to an agreement, to a settlement that would result in an inclusive government for all sides, instead of what we are seeing, which is a full takeover of the Taliban. And the worry is that it may result again in a civil war and an endless war for Afghans, because again, Afghans would never accept imposition of power over them.
Okay. And one last question, Ambassador. What role do you anticipate India can play? There are a lot of people who want to leave Kabul. There are a lot of refugees, that want to basically go to a different country. What kind of role has India played in the past? Well, you were the ambassador, and what role can it play going forward?
There has been a very strong bond and friendship between India and Afghanistan throughout the history. And at this very difficult time, we are asking our Indian friends to please not leave Afghanistan alone. There are immediate actions, and then there is long-term actions. The immediate action is, number one, provide visas. Let those who are trying to come out get out. Help them. The people are stuck. They are fearful, and many of them might be in danger of losing their lives. So you, as a distant neighbor of Afghanistan, can really help this elevate the situation, particularly helping members of civil society, women who are extremely fearful for their lives, for their futures. That's one aspect. The other aspect is India should and could probably join the rest of the international community and ensure that the very small amount of assets that is left for Afghanistan does not flee Afghanistan, does not get looted, does not get trafficked, whether it is monetary assets, whatever is left, because I'm hearing that a lot has been looted even recently. And then also it is historic heritage. We know what happened before. Afghanistan's historic wealth and its heritage was bombed, was shattered. That cannot happen. That's a catastrophic that's something really catastrophic for the entire world. So you can help with securing that. You can help secure Afghanistan's assets through a mechanism that could be established across and internationally to ensure that you are curbing money laundering, that you are not allowing Afghan missions that all around the world, that it is controlled, and ensuring that it does not get looted anymore. One of the reasons that we are where we are is because of lack of rule of law, because of dysfunctional justice system, because of the grievances, because of towards the justice system or injustices that happen. This was one of the reasons that draw many young people towards Taliban. Of course, in addition to the poverty and corruption and much more. So you can definitely play a role, and we are looking at you at this very difficult time, hoping that you will also not abandon us.
No, India has not, Ambassador. I should tell you that India started, new category of visas for all the refugees, and they can apply them online. It's only a matter of time. Hopefully we can get help as many as Afghan people out there as possible. Really hoping and praying for everybody out there in Afghanistan. We'll do another interview with you, hopefully shortly, in a much more happy and optimistic time. Thank you so much for doing this today, Ambassador.
Thank you for having me.
हमने की गलती फिर एक बार, कोरोना ने किया दोबारा प्रहार। मास्क, 2 गज दूरी, करें अपनी सुरक्षा पूरी। कोरोना टीका हम सबको लगाना है, मिलकर साथ समझदारी से कोरोना को हराना है।